What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday night for a special edition on All About the Birds Network. It is not chips and dish tonight, my friends. No. Thank you. Thank you to my people for figuring out that the name of this show tonight is FriendChips and Dish. I am so excited tonight because I'm bringing a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new with my friendships from the past and the future and the present. I got with me tonight. I got Don Conaway, my very best work buddy, Mr. Don Conaway, and his Phillies and his Sixers and his Eagles gear all over the place. Don Conaway up there. And for the first time, me seeing him since his wedding, my twin brother.
Yeah.
Twin. Manny. What is up, Manny? Hey,
how you
buddy.
doing, buddy? Thank you for having me here tonight. I know it's been like 8-9 years, so it's a very long.
No, you got to tell me. Don't tell Carly that you forgot how long it's been since you've been married.
I'm watching this now. Great.
No, she's not. She's good.
Good. But it's actually awesome to be here tonight. I do watch this show, so I'm happy to be part of the show on this special edition of Friendships and Dish. And
let me tell you,
it's good to be back.
My favorite thing to do was to find old ass photos of us. Because that was hysterical.
Oh man, to tell stories. It's funny because I was telling Carly the stories about like the stupid things we used to do in college, and she was like, "Really?" Like, yes, like the golden bear, getting attacked by the golden bear. You know,
because I was the school mascot. We're going to talk about that.
Yes.
How about the fact that you almost got me to pledge a Latino fraternity?
I was thinking about that too.
I don't doubt it.
And what would my brother name have been? Do you remember?
Oh no, I don't actually.
Because I remember.
You remember what was it? Token. Yes, you were thinking about using the word token in that one. Yeah, I remember that.
So no. I'm just saying, like, I know, like, we got comments rolling in, and Adam, I appreciate you putting out the offer, man. You were like this close to being on the show before this developed. We got Jason coming on. Jason, I watched a lot of hockey this week, so we got stuff to talk about. Yes. My wife is tuning back in for the first time in weeks because, Manny and Don are on the show. No other real reason.
Of course. a special. Yeah.
Johnny likes the Flyers jersey. And Manny's wearing a Raiders jersey.
I'm a Raiders fan. I'm sorry, guys. Usually I'm not.
It's cool.
So, Manny, I got to ask. So, what's the origin of your Raiders fandom?
Okay, so it's a very awkward one. So, I was actually born and raised in Puerto Rico. And for some reason, you think Puerto Rico, close to Miami, the Miami Dolphins will be the syndicated team. Sorry.
Real quick, just so you know, she's going to be on in a couple weeks, and I'll explain that later, too.
Okay, perfect. But yet, somehow, the broadcasting station kept playing the LA Raiders game.
Okay.
So I don't know whether the guy was a fan or it was cheaper. I don't know why it was that, but he kept playing the Raiders games, so I became a Raiders fan. And I'm a big fan of both Jacksons and my guys and those old school guys that you just
Sure.
you look at them mean and they'll beat you up no matter what. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah, no, I'm always curious when it seems kind of like out of sorts what you how you got there.
Yeah, but not gonna lie, I do love the Flyers. I am into hockey, so I am a Flyers and a Sixers fans.
There we go.
It's all like AI, Mutombo back in the days, Dr. J.
Don't make me break out the Tyrone Hill photo.
Oh man.
Oh God.
So all good stuff on that one.
Good.
Yeah. Well, so I want to start off with, a little bit. So first off, let me do the things that I got to do. I got to make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, you're hitting the subscribe button. If you're new time watchers, you're liking us on Facebook, you're liking us on Twitter, on Instagram, you're doing all the follows. I want to do something a little bit special. And I'm watching the comments roll in about the Flyers. Yes, I am a renewed Flyers fan, Kyle, and Adam knows that I've said this for weeks that I've been watching the Flyers again for the first time in a couple of years.
Really?
So I was very critical early on because I just trying to figure out how they played.
Listen, if you're out there and you need some hockey entertainment, watch Chip's live feed when he live tweets the Flyers games.
And has no clue.
It is something to at least keep you entertained.
That's good.
Absolutely.
I'll keep that in mind for next time.
Because I have no clue what's happening. And I'm getting back into it. I listened to some of Jason's stuff because he talks a lot about the Flyers. I'm learning who to follow on the Twitter.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about you, Sir Conaway, Mr. Don Conaway up here, right? There's something really cool that is happening in your life where you have been nominated by the Philadelphia Flyers for something awesome. Would you like to share some of that? Well, I'm even going to put it on the screen so the people know what is up.
Sure. So there's a supplemental.
I got to put the other person up. Hang on. I got you.
That way.
Hold on. This one.
Yeah.
And then this. Okay, go.
Okay. So there's a supplemental program that we use called Hockey Scholars that blends hockey and math and science. So we've been using that program in our building in Eisenhower and in Norristown for about 5 or 6 years. And it really just gives a good kind of alternative to the science content that we present in school. I'm a science teacher by trade, but a 4for4 fan. So anytime I get the opportunity to kind of blend both of them, this has been the perfect marriage, and it really just has been a really good opportunity for our kids to expose them to hockey. For some of them, it's a first time not knowing anything, but there are about 20 people that got nominated in North America. So the thing that I would just encourage you to do, and we can put the information up to vote. You can vote.
It's up in the description of this entire episode.
Wonderful. Don. So it's you can vote once a day, every day, and the winner of each month is going to get a $10,000 technology grant for their school.
Oh wow!
So vote frequently.
And it's really simple. It doesn't require an email address or anything. It's 2 clicks. So yeah, definitely make sure that you're. I wanted to share this because this news kind of dropped today, and I was like, we need this. We need to know what's up.
It's
positive stuff. So this is a good thing. Yeah,
this is great.
And the comments rolling in. They're big things. Kyle says congratulations. A2D says congratulations. And again, it's one great. Per day. So I'll remind people.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I wanted to share that because that's such a cool thing.
It's super cool.
Manny, tell me what's been going on because I have not talked to you in a while, my friend. So what big things are happening in your life, bud?
Other than the father of 3, I got 3 little kids now, all boys, hashtag parenting there. Just basically DJing locally in the area for weddings and in the area. I'm a DJ at a trampoline park as well. Even though it's been shut down right now, but basically doing my own thing. Work for B&W of North America, part of their logistics region. So basically, just hustling, bustling in the whole area in itself. So, and
now, Manny, I gotta ask: Are you doing any online DJ content?
No, I mean,
can get into.
No. I've been with this whole pandemic thing. I'm kind of like in a laid back mode. Like I do things here and there. I'm not into like DJing like that in a while. I do want to get back on the whole thing.
I was gonna say because I have seen some people do some they'll do like a Facebook Live or something where people can contribute where just something else just to supplement.
It gets a whole flowing idea going in itself. But most of the part, with 3 kids, it's kind of hard to,
I can imagine
escape from reality a little bit.
Also, listen, I remember you all the way back from the KUR days, man. Yes. Like that's what's up.
Once in a while, I drop in and then say hi to them and so forth. But for the most part, it's just been more in the background, though, trying help out the community in terms of like DJing and PA systems and all that crazy stuff, and weddings. Sometimes, especially during this whole pandemic, I've done like 2 weddings, and both of them have been interesting / crazy.
It's so interesting, Manny, that you set me up with the perfect segue right there. You mentioned that there's some sort of pandemic going on.
Some sort.
It's March again. We've been doing this for about a year.
This is March 365th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we found out over the past couple of days that Philadelphia sports, we're going to jump into it. Yeah. Philadelphia sports are going to be allowing fans to come back in. The last I heard, it was around about 8,000 fans for the Sixers and Flyers, maybe a little more.
Yeah. It's about that. Yeah, it's about 15 to 20%, I think.
Yeah, I know they have to bring in a ton of staff in order to bring in a ton of fans.
Thanks.
Without getting political, because that's not what we do here. We don't do the political at all.
It's a lot of sports here.
Is this a mistake to start bringing fans back halfway through a season?
Listen, I think it's kind of the same way I feel about school. Mm-hmm. We're getting to that point where at some point we're going to have to turn that over. Mm-hmm. I think if you're trying to do, if you're those teams and you're allowing those people in, then I think if you're doing everything that you can, mm-hmm. I think it's gonna happen at some point. We're gonna have to start somewhere. Right. So I think I've seen some of the stadiums, they're blocking off like sections of seats so that they're not available.
Right. And I remember as they started showing some of the things, it was the pods. Like you buy pods.
Right. I think that's a good idea. I think you're trying. Listen, you are never in this climate going to please
everybody,
everyone.
You're right.
So I think what you're seeing is these leagues and these teams trying to find the best balance of what they're allowed to do and trying to keep people safe. And listen, they're putting the hand sanitizer stuff everywhere. They're blocking off sections of seats. They're doing everything they can.
And like you said, it's really difficult to not be political about all this. So I don't want to, but the fact of the matter is that you do have to open this up at some point.
Yes.
Eventually it's going to happen. Yeah. So it's kind of weird because crazy stats was the NFL home teams had a losing season for the first time ever.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's you don't think about it until you actually see the numbers. And the same way with what you call it? Watching the NFL, I'm gonna go back to the NFL because that's the one that's most prominent. Okay. Even the bubble, just having that fake sound effect in the background. I don't know about you, but for me, it was kind of annoying a little bit because the positive on that one was that you can hear the plays clearly and what's going to happen. So you're kind of oh my god, here comes.
Belichick was so excited.
Yeah, but even that,
He's like,
like,
I don't even have to try to cheat. It's just happening.
exactly.
Oh.
Like, well, they're playing balls this year. Like, I'm just gonna listen to them. So,
I think I'm a little on the other end of that. I haven't minded the not fan part of it because it's given me a different aspect of the on court play, the on field play. Like
it was cool that way.
I think they for having to put on a product without fans.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of crazy. I mean, like you said, like listen, you can't please everybody at the end of the day, but we're in that 365 Groundhog Day number 10 that you want to at least do something out of your house, even if even if you're gonna be in the nosebleeds of a Sixers game watching Embiid.
At least you're there.
Yeah, you're dropping the 20 points. At least you're there to watch it for you to say, hey, I watched the game at least once.
So let me ask a question about that then, because specifically, let's talk about fans coming back with the Flyers and the Sixers, right? Two indoor sports, two sports that have been playing already.
Right.
Out of the two, which one is going to benefit more from the fans being back? Manny, let me start with you.
I'm going to say hockey, just because the intensity of the hockey games, players, I mean, don't get me wrong, both sports do feed off the players, and sometimes the fans itself can make or change the sport. But I think hockey, the players think more of like the animosity and like all that stuff. And you always going to have that one hockey, hockey visitor, hockey guy that's going to be like the heckler of the team, and it's going crazy. So hockey is always that one sport that, like, no matter what you do, and even that, hockey is 10 times better watching it in person than if you go watch it on TV. Like, if you're going to watch a puck go back and forth for 60 minutes, it's okay. Like, it's fun, but it's not like that. When you watch a game in like an arena and you see the guy getting punched out in the face, right? Like, you're 10 throws behind, you get excited. You want to punch that guy too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, trying to follow the puck on TV is not.
I miss the days of Fox where they lit the sumbitch up and you just followed that sumbitch. That's right, that's sumbitch.
But I think I don't know how much of like, if you're talking about 8,000 people in a stadium that seats 70,000, and they're still blocking off that entire first section. So there's still not going to be, regardless of hockey or basketball, you're still not going to have, like, those first 30 rows are still not going to have people in it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you got that in place.
Will there be some effect? Yeah, I think there will be.
I mean, I do see also, like, the plexiglass in the hockey game being like some type of barrier. Like, it's not, there's.
Sure.
They could put people in the front row for that, but not for basketball.
Not for basketball.
No.
Right?
We all learned from the brawl at Auburn Hills what fans too close to a game can do. That's right. I went all the way back to Ron Artest.
The malice in the palace.
So I tend to disagree, because I look at the two sports. Again, we're just talking hockey and basketball.
Sure.
Hockey is, you hear it even with the announcers, like, they're surprised, like, okay, they're passing the puck, and oh my God, he's got a breakaway and he's going, like, they're shocked. Yeah. Basketball, it's all about momentum, right? So you do that big dunk, and then you steal a ball, and then you got another. All of a sudden, you're down 10 points in 35 seconds. That doesn't happen too much in hockey.
No, I mean, the most that you ever see that in hockey is, like, if there's a goal, like, in the last 15 seconds of one period, and then they score a goal in the first 30, in the first minute of the next period, and there's a quick turnaround. But
much like the Flyers at Lake Tahoe.
Correct. Except which is a whole nother conversation. I'm like on the fence about the outdoor game. Like, I love the ambiance of it, but the product on the ice is like,
it wasn't great. It wasn't great. And for me, for that to be the first hockey game I watched, like, really closely in like 5-6 years, that to me was like, okay, well, I kind of see why. And everyone told me, just stick with it. Just stick with it. You're going to be good. Just stick with it. But it was tough. I didn't like how, the game before they had to take an intermission because the ice was melting.
Well, there were 2 goals in that game that were scored 9 hours apart. Like, you had to take such a break. Like, how you didn't know where, like, how they didn't know that surface was going to act like that ahead of time.
Right.
To me, is just it's just suspect.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we're starting to talk about fans coming back. The Flyers tomorrow play against Pittsburgh, where there will be fans.
Yes.
There will be fans in Pittsburgh. So we're going to get a little taste of it against a team that we hate.
I was going to say, if there's ever a game to have fans back, it's why not have it against a team that they absolutely hate?
Absolutely. And they do. You know, and the fact of the matter is that what I have really enjoyed, yes, Manny does have a handle. Here it is. That's your Twitter handle, right, sir?
I don't have Twitter. I'm old school like that.
Oh, that is your what then, sir?
That's just me.
Well, hold up. I gotta before people start typing weird stuff in.
Yeah, I
AKA fizzle.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I
need to get back on that whole thing. Again, it gets the whole. I'm an old school guy. Like I still rock record players. That's how old school I am still.
That's cool though.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, so the fact that they've been doing these little mini series, I've really enjoyed that.
I like it.
Right. So they played this weekend against the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres, from everything that I learned, were a pretty garbage team.
They're like the Marlins, like the old Marlins.
Got it.
Yeah.
What I do know is they were good on the power play, and the Flyers killed that shit down. That's what I learned. I learned. But you still, anytime you play somebody, and Manny, you were kind of bringing this up. Anytime you play somebody and you get popped in the mouth, you want to go after that person. You're telling you get popped in the mouth on a Saturday, and you get to go back on Sunday and pop them again. Like, that stuff festers. Hold on, Manny, your wire. There you go. Your wire's a little loose.
Right here.
Yeah.
You're good now.
Just the fact that like that whole, you said the series. So again, you fight with him on Friday. On Saturday, you see him again. You want to punch him again. Even if like let's say you got your ass beat the night before, you want to redeem yourself somehow. And that's one good thing that came out of the whole bubble thing, like having these series going back and forth. You could see more of the action, more of the players' emotions on the sleeve, especially when again that goalie who got scored five goals the night before, that hasn't happened yet like that, but it still has that factor like, okay, at this time tonight I'm not gonna let you score on me, and I'm gonna do anything hell to go through it. So
and I know. Go ahead, Don.
Well, I was gonna say I think the idea that they were able to not only do that back to back, but do it back to back with both goalies. Kind of gives them a window into like giving Carter Hart a little bit of a jump start going into the Penguins.
That was going to be one of my questions as a newbie. Carter Hart got absolutely lit up on national television at Lake Tahoe.
Correct.
They then gave him almost a full week off.
Yeah.
Was that as kind of like a hey, pump the brakes kind of thing, or was there a different reason that I don't quite know about?
I mean, I think it could be a little bit of a mental health piece, and it could be a little bit of being able to get Brian Elliott a couple of games under his belt because who
looked great. He looked great, by the way.
I think he's a guy who you like to have on the bench to be able to bring that veteran experience in for a guy who's kind of he's playing his first full season. Right.
And Jason, I know you do a lot with this, so that's part of the reason why I'm even asking this question. He had the hot hand. So he comes back, he beats the Rangers, then he shuts out the Sabres. But I thought it was really important that they then put Carter Hart back in for that extra game.
Correct.
Because you don't want any of this, Philadelphia backup quarterback ridiculousness. Like, oh, well, Brian Elliott's the goalie of the future.
No, I think
he's not. No, he's not.
No.
I mean, these guys, much as say the goalies, being on that suit for 60 minutes straight, at one point you're gonna get tired. So like I'm pretty sure that he wanted a day off, something to recuperate. Even let's be honest, even with all that outfit, your body you might be cramping. I mean, you'll be crushed in for how many minutes straight? Like, let's be honest. It's gonna affect you one way or another. So it's one of those things that like, say what you say what you will. He eventually, needed a mental day or a break or a day off just to get back in shape for the next game.
Right. And I think the thing that Jason's saying, so Jason is a huge hockey guy. I follow him on Twitter and I look to him for a lot of my hockey knowledge. So people were coming out after the Tahoe game and saying that Carter Hart is not the answer in Philly. Okay, let's, as he says here, typical Philly. Let's remember that in Philadelphia, I understand that we won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, but the backup is the backup for a reason.
So
in all facets, like nobody here is saying that JT Realmuto should continue to sit when he comes back because Andrew Knapp might get hot as the catcher. No one is saying that.
No, and this is typical. You're right. He's right. Typical Philly hot take where it's the Eagles schedule syndrome where we treat every game like an Eagles game, when an Eagles game is a weekly event. But like the other night when the Sixers are losing, when they lose to the Cavs in overtime, am I pissed? Yeah.
Well, it was a bad game.
Yeah, it was a bad game.
They shot bricks all day.
Right. But that game in the middle of February, it can't like throw your world upside down.
Right.
It's that not treating every game like it is
the Super Bowl,
the super duper weekly event. Like it's just
right.
Yeah.
And that's something we struggle. I feel like as a Philly fan, like you struggle with because you're so invested in the teams that you want every game to come and turn out the way you want it. Yeah. But realizing that the Sixers are probably going to lose 20 games this year, like you have to factor that into.
Right. And I think like for me, okay, so spring training started and the Phillies have played 2 games. They lost and they tied. It's spring training.
It's spring training.
What are our overreactions with the Phillies already? We're going to skip ahead on the agenda. What are the Philly overreactions right away?
I mean, the reaction is they go be mediocre again. I mean, are they going to be mediocre? I don't think so. I mean, they pay a lot of money and they're getting ready to at least do something. But I don't think I think they'll be they're playoff contenders. I think.
Okay.
I
wild card number 2.
Okay. Listen, I wrote down on my notes contend for a wild card. So I'm kind of right there with you. I think their biggest issue last year was their bullpen. And their bullpen is better. The best thing they did was the same thing the Sixers did, which is get somebody in the front office who is going to put better players on the team. Yeah. Their back end of their bullpen is better now. And even if the back end of their bullpen is mediocre, like just mediocre, they're still a better team.
But remember, it doesn't have to be a negative, right?
No.
Let's explode. Let's go overreacting with positivity, right? Travis Fulgham, after 2 games, was an elite NFL wide receiver. Guilty myself. I'm like, oh, you look at him. He goes up, he catches the ball with his hands. He's fantastic. And then what did he do to all of Philadelphia? He ghosted us, right? So taking that same mentality and overreaction, well, man, and that's Adam Halsey. Adam Halsey is going to be a Hall of Fame center fielder, isn't he?
Oh, Hazley?
Hey, sure. That's how you say his name.
So listen, that probably is one of the only position battles that's kind of up in the air where there's literally 4 guys that it could be. And I don't know. Like, do you have some kind of rotation where you have Roman Quinn, you have Adam Hazley, you have
We have to.
like.
I
You-
mean,
Manny, you pick the sport. Give me your Philly overreaction, Manny.
for go back to the Phillies whole thing. It's one of those things that like you said, the bullpen has gotten better. The front office has gotten better. Like you see the bits and pieces. Now let's see how good are they in action. And again, it's spring training. It's week in the second game of spring training. Like I am not going to be like, oh my god, like they're they suck because they lost to the
the worst.
Yeah,
Aaron Nola gave up a home run. Now I will drop a little hot take in a second.
But Aaron Nola, like if you look, it was some bad pitch. Let's be honest. Like
pitchers aren't supposed to do that. Every pitch is supposed to be perfect, Manny.
No, but if you let it hanging like it's not tomorrow, you definitely gonna get one out of the field.
Seriously, but
so like it's right there. Like,
no one should read anything into anything that happens to any baseball team that plays in Florida in March.
Like let's be honest.
None of it means
that's not
anything.
fun as a podcaster. I want to say how great or awful this team is after watching 14 innings of baseball.
I watched Nola in the Triple A league here in Lehigh Valley, Iron Pigs, and I can tell you many times that I was drunk and screaming at him to leave one hand so I could make fun of him the next day. Exactly. But it was one of those, again, like it's spring training, 2 games in. Let's say if he does that in like August, when like we need wins, I'm gonna trash him. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna say he's the worst pitcher in MLB history. And
I'm so glad that you just gave me that Aaron Nola hanging curveball to my next point.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Don. You want to interrupt me? You want to have a mound visit before I want to do a mound visit before I hit this.
I just want to go back to Adam's comment. So he said something about needing a starting pitcher. So I do think that they have some kind of interest in Jake Odorizzi, which could be another guy that they put in the 3 or 4 spot. Which, listen, in my mind, anything that pushes Vince Velasquez further away from going into the game, I'm sign me up for.
Yeah.
So I think
Vince Velasquez is the JJ Arcega-Whiteside of the Philadelphia Phillies. He will not go away.
No, he's always there forever and ever.
Although there is talk that JJ is on his way out.
Oh.
Simply just because he's
bye.
He hasn't done enough. There's talk.
Yeah, but somehow he'll come back. He's like me, bro.
But here's my hanging curveball that Manny lofted up to me, softball style.
High pitch.
I'm going to go on record here, and I will eat my words if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Aaron Nola is not a number 1 pitcher in this league. Aaron Nola is at best a 3 or a 4. I think that he is great at getting ground ball outs. He is great if the defense is there to back him up. But an elite number 1 pitcher in Major League Baseball, we are talking the Hallidays, the Clemens, the Schillings, the Nolan Ryans, the ones who go out and shut shit down. Aaron Nola ain't that. Aaron Nola is a number 1 team on a starting rotation that doesn't have a number 1.
Correct. There's nothing there. You didn't say. I don't think. Go ahead, Manny.
No, go ahead.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think your statement's pretty accurate.
But we live in Philadelphia where he's been groomed as the next king of the ring for the last 7 years.
And that's the problem. Like we were like, oh my God, Nolan, he's the answer. And then we realized he's kind of mediocre.
Yeah, Nola is a 2-3-ish guy, but he's the number 1. I think Wheeler's probably at this point better than him skill wise. They could be 1 and 2 in this rotation, but neither one of them are like Neither one of them are like front
one of
line
them
number
is a
one, shut it down.
who throws in the high 90s and just blows smoke right by. No, they don't have that.
We don't have that. No.
But again, you don't need. Okay, so one thing about Nola that's actually decent is his control, like his speed. Yes, it's still there. My biggest thing is like if you look at like the Nolan Ryans, the Clemens, the CC Sabathias, let's be honest, like control. You know, if I want a low and away or high and away, why are you gonna throw me a curveball that's gonna be hanging 5-6 seconds so that he can like get destroyed? Like, let's be honest. And don't get me wrong, like you said, Chip, if he does better this year than he did last year,
I'll eat my words. My words.
You better eat more than words at this point.
Listen, I'm trying to lose weight. I can't be eating too much more. I had a big dinner. I'm good though.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, you're right. He said, I will say a 2, maybe 3, not a 3, 4. And again, like the defense itself, our defense, like starting the defense, hasn't been the most consistent the whole league.
Right. Like, so when you have a ground ball pitcher, that's a problem. When you have a Rhys Hoskins at first base who's still learning the position, that's a liability.
It is. I'm not saying no.
Now, it helps that JT Realmuto is back there catching the pitches. Oh yeah, who's the best catcher in baseball? Who's making Nola look real good?
Yeah, he's the best catcher in baseball by a mile. Yeah, like there's like the guy, whoever is second is not even close.
It's not Andrew Knapp.
No, God, no. And that was painful to watch today. Like watching him swing.
No overreactions. There's only been 14 innings of baseball. No overreactions.
Well, listen, we've seen him swing miles below the Mendoza line for the last couple seasons. So, but I think having Alec Boehm at third is good.
Yeah,
that moves Segura. Yeah. That could move Segura to second. That puts Gregorius at short.
Yeah, and
Hoskins at first. And then I think on the days off, you can have Real Muto play first. You can there's a lot of interchangeability. It's not an incredible defense, but it's a credible defense.
Yeah, but that's what you need. You need that credible defense that, if Nolan comes in and, gives you 3 grounders, you can actually get 1, 2, 3 out quickly, and he can save him for later games when you do need him to strike out 7, 8 people. So
right, and again, this is probably where I am way the hell wrong, but it's just how I feel after 14 innings and many seasons of watching Aaron Nola. Right?
Yeah,
Aaron Nola, and I said this. Aaron Nola is not a number 1. I look at Aaron Nola. His career, what his career is going to be, more like a Jamie Moyer-ish, where over 25 years, Jamie Moyer playing baseball, he was a ground ball out pitcher. Jamie Moyer should not have been pitching after 25 years, and yet he still was. Why? Because his stuff was not fast, it was controlled, and he had defenses that played behind him. That's how I see Aaron Nola elongating his Major League Baseball career.
Yeah, I mean, I
would agree with you.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
But it's a really weird analogy because Jamie Moyer was never the number 1 on any roster he ever was on.
I think that
Jamie Moyer wasn't a number 1 when he was at Souderton High School. Like he wasn't.
I will say though, his sister was my middle school chorus teacher. So
okay,
I'm digging on Jamie Moyer a little bit, but
shout out to Wisconsin chorus.
Shout out to Ms. Moyer, the high school or the middle school chorus teacher over there. I do think Hamels was better than Nola
in his prime.
Not Hamels right now. Not Hamels now.
In the prime Hamels, I would take him.
But in his prime,
I would take prime Hamels. Prime Hamels over prime Nola any day and twice for a doubleheader on a Sunday.
Absolutely. Seeing how Hamels pitched in the playoffs.
Yeah.
In that stretch where they were battling.
I look at this playing center. I still put Kingery. I know that's not maybe that's the hot take of the night, but I put Kingery at center. At least he's going to go balls out for every single thing hit to him.
I go Roman Quinn just for speed, just because he's fast and can get to the gaps.
He can cover that area, especially if Harper is going to be a little bitch that night. So,
okay,
hot take,
Manny's hot take.
Harper, if you really want to start commotion here, I think Bryce Harper is overrated galore. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got
All right.
everything.
Let's dig into this, Manny, shall we?
Yeah.
Manny, for the people who just joined and may have missed the beginning of that, Manny Emmanuel, aka my twin, feels that Bryce Harper is overrated.
He is. I mean,
Manny, we're gonna do this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Look, if you're getting paid all this money, if you were the most sought out free agent, 2 years ago, and you still haven't produced nothing for the organization, you cannot tell me you're not overrated. I don't care how much, if you're in a cold streak or your cleats are on backwards or your cleats or your tights are on too loose or anything. But if you cannot produce your decent numbers that you did when you're back down in Washington, you cannot tell me you're a good player. And to throw a fit just because you're on a dry streak or something, that right there, again, you're not a baseball player. You're just an athlete at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
now, I agree here with what A2D is basically saying. Look, it was a rough year last year. We didn't have the passion of the fan base behind them. Baseball is a sport that is so dull and is so mundane that without the fans, it was tough. It was tough to get through.
It was hard. It was a hard watch.
Last year was hard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no. The year before that, what was he? Like he batted. What was he at? Let me double check. But he was what, two something batting average?
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good. It wasn't okay.
It down year.
It wasn't a Bryce Harper year, so to say.
Right. And you sign a guy to a 13-year contract, but you can expect him to every year have those numbers, though.
Right. And I think you're right in one sense, where it was his numbers on the level, on par with a guy making $330 million over 13 years. No. I also think that they anticipated that him being there would attract other players, and that never happened.
Yes,
I think it happened with Rio Muto came. Like they got him a trade, and they were, thank God, able to re-sign him. But I don't think they saw the windfall of what they anticipated, which was seeing other players having that feeling of other players wanting to go and come and play with and around him.
No, and I'm not saying, again, like, was he a good athlete in Washington, a good baseball player in Washington? Yes. Can he make a bounce back? I always like that story. Like, if he can come back and give me MVP numbers this year, great. I mean, we're winning games. We're giving the chance to our pitchers get a good game in, so that way we can have those better chances to, when we close out those 3-4 games that are 3-5, 4-3, close games that we can win, that's fine. But if you're gonna tell me that, yes, the whole getting him into Philadelphia to get other people in, I think that's a bad strategy for baseball, no matter what.
Yeah.
You're relying on one person to bring other people in instead of being the other way around. Because,
but doesn't that same thing happen? Ready for this? Doesn't that same thing happen with basketball? Doesn't that same thing happen with football, where you bring in the Pied Piper of athletes, and all of a sudden they're championship contenders?
Well, it's a lot easier to do that I feel like in those sports. Like baseball is probably the one that requires the team more than maybe, like, it's very easy in basketball with a roster of 13 players to bring in 2 or 3 guys, and it drastically affects the performance of the team.
Yeah.
Where baseball, like, you could have the best starting 9, but if you're starting,
but you
5,
need to have the
pitchers,
good 7th inning guy, a great 8th inning guy, and the best closer in baseball as well.
The Phillies bullpen was the prime example last year. You had how many games did they? I mean, they played 60 games last year, and they had more than 15 of those games where they led after the 7th inning and lost.
Oh yeah.
So like that one part of your team is weakness. drastically affects your performance. That's why I thought with bringing in the guys that they brought in the back end of their bullpen, even if those guys are mediocre better,
Yep,
they're still on. Now they're on the fringe of that second wild card.
Sure.
right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I look at this. I look at this whole roster.
Absolutely.
With the Phillies, and I go, this team has a chance.
Yeah.
But here's what I noticed: like the bullpen is slightly better. I still don't think that the starting pitching is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're gonna have is maybe a slight improvement from last year, but I still think this team is a couple big names away. The closer's my man Archie.
Archie Bradley.
The closer's my man Archie.
Let's not forget this though. They are also playing in what will inevitably be the most impressive division in baseball. I mean, they're
I guess they're bounced back in this division.
Yeah. How crazy is that we go from baseball to football, and it's a lot of the similar teams, but the NL East is the best division in baseball. And the NFC East
it's the worst
is
one.
the worst division in the history of football.
They used to be that great. What happened to them?
They moved the Cardinals out to Arizona. Remember when the Cardinals were in the NFC East and the Aeneas Williams battles?
Oh God!
That's
Remember
right. Aeneas Williams.
Those 4:00 games and where they're fighting the sun,
and Jake the Snake.
Yeah, Jake the Snake Plumber.
I don't know. I miss some of those things. But okay, Adam helping us out, and I know that Don and myself were definitely a little distracted because we both have our ways to watch the game. Don's watching on his iPad. I've got the Roku over in the corner quadrant.
Oh.
But the Sixers are currently winning, right?
It's good.
Good. They lost really ugly last weekend to the Cavaliers in overtime. But guys, Ben Simmons is going to shoot more threes now, right?
What?
He's a 3-point threat.
After the 3-pointer that he shot as the clock expired.
Manny, don't shun me with your eyes. Is Ben Simmons going to finish the season as the best 3-point shooter on this roster, Manny?
Why you put me in that spotlight, man? I already did that Bryce Harper thing earlier. It wasn't another hot seat. I don't know. I mean,
this is what we all agree on. We'll share. It's a hot couch. We agree.
Hot couch. You agree? Yeah. It's one of those crazy ones. I mean, shooting threes. I mean, I would say with
he's
him,
not. He shot one in garbage pail time.
I was gonna say I did play with him on 2K last night, and I did make a 3 with him, so maybe.
Well, then you know it's all right. How do you know it's a video game? All right, here's how Manny knows it's a video game. He played 2K last night. He hit a 3 with Ben Simmons. How many tries did you have?
Okay, it was like 15, but still.
Okay, so that's how you know it's a video game. Ben Simmons took 15 threes.
Yeah, it was like real life.
I know I play video games. I'm playing Madden 2021 currently. And the Philadelphia Eagles, with the roster that they ended the season with, are in line for the first place in the NFC. So I'm just saying, how do you know that they're video games? And I'm still over here going, all right, well, I'm playing franchise mode. I have to trade Carson Wentz. I wonder what I'm going to get for him. And I will be sharing the details of my trade, what I get for Carson Wentz, because I guarantee you it'll be better than what Howie Roseman got for him.
Yes, that was just atrocious right there, but I don't know what made him think that was a good deal.
Okay, wait, I want to discuss this. Joel Embiid, if he stops resting, is the MVP of this league, no question.
But there's no reason why he shouldn't be like if you let's be honest. The goal of this team is to win the Larry O'Brien trophy. Then he needs to be healthy in the playoffs. And like we've talked about before, the amount of off days that are in the playoff schedule, he won't be sitting out any of those games. And there's not another player in the East that's going to guard him in a 7-game series.
But again, you didn't let me finish my point here. I said he's not the MVP if he keeps resting. I didn't say play him more.
But what?
This needs to be a team goal of going to win the title. I'm cool if Joel Embiid doesn't win the MVP this year if it means the Sixers get a title.
Oh,
Is he putting up MVP numbers and is he an MVP caliber player? Yes. But you can't say for a guy that takes every second to third game off that he should be in the running for MVP. Now, I want him to win the MVP. I just don't think that it is fair that if he rests as much, he should be winning of the MVP over guys that play every night.
Yeah. I mean,
he should rest. He should rest. He should rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need him to win the All-Star MVP. I need him to rest.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
Manny, what were you going to say? Is Joel Embiid Manny the MVP?
It's a tough one because to tell you the truth, I have other people on the. He's like in the top 5, but I don't think he's gonna be the one himself. I'm just saying. I mean, get me wrong. Like again, do I want him to win the MVP? Of course. You know, any Sixer fan wants him to be MVP, and as a Sixer fan, I want him to be MVP. But if I have a take between resting him and winning the championship, I'll take the championship no matter what.
I'll take the championship. I'll take a parade over somebody that sits on his mantle.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it's one of those things. It's kind of hard to judge and so forth. You know, can he do it? It's a possibility. Will he be hurt? There's a definite possibility in that one too. Because again, he's a big guy. Let's be honest. Big guys don't make it throughout the year.
I don't want him to turn into Greg Oden, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're way past Greg Oden. But
are we in Andrew Bynum territory?
Andrew Bynum was never this good. Never even sniffed this good. Andrew Bynum was garbage.
I mean, I guess
for a long time.
Let me ask you this:
take him off the team.
Yeah.
Take him off the team.
I'll keep him in. Bynum could be your good, off the bench player. Put him in for a situational, last 4 or 5 minutes. Give Odom a rest before the last minute of the game. I mean, and be the last minute of the game. Well, I said Odom.
I don't think
Odom. Please no.
Listen, let's think about some of the names that we've brought in tonight. Aeneas Williams, Jake Plummer, Greg Oden, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, who is a ghost to me.
Yeah.
We're going to be bringing up Johnny Manziel in a couple of minutes. Like, we're dropping some shit tonight. You
did say old school and new school, so it makes a lot of sense going back and forth.
It's like you catch what I'm doing, Twin. It's like you catch it. So, okay, let me ask just 30 seconds or less here. Who's your MVP of the NBA at the midseason mark? Don, start with you.
For me, it's got to be Embiid. If you take Embiid off the Sixers, they are a mediocre-ish playoff back end of the East team. And he has such a dramatic effect on the performance of this team that, to me, you can take Giannis off the Bucks and they're still going to be good. You can take LeBron off the Lakers and they're still going to be good. If you take Embiid off the Sixers, they're going to be
bad.
They plummet to a mediocre 6, 7, 8.
Manny, who's your MVP?
See,
halfway.
I would say LeBron James again. I'm sorry on that one, just because, like you said, even lately the Lakers have been on a slump. Not saying no. Lakers right now. The Lakers are being Lakers. They are on that losing streak that they always do every year and so forth.
But all they got to do is get in. That's the big thing. Just got to get in.
Yeah. Just put LeBron James in there and somehow he'll make a miracle out of anything. He'll fight with Karens and he'll be fine. So,
but in my opinion, at this point, and I know he's not playing right now, LeBron isn't even the best player on the Lakers.
Who would it be then?
Anthony Davis. I said he's not playing right this second. I said,
okay.
But Anthony Davis is better than LeBron James right now.
Correct. But Anthony Davis is also I feel like is on the precipice of like some kind of injury with the way that he's been on and off with his injuries.
They're trying to treat him as best as they could, trying to keep him on the court, but at the same time not keep him on the court too much because they want him for that playoff run and so forth.
Right.
And LeBron
Right, and that's the thing. All they have to do is get in. Right now, the Lakers are currently number 2 in the West. They're going to get in with a top 4 seed no matter what. And at that point, everyone will be magically healthy, and LeBron will go playoff LeBron.
Oh, yeah.
Which is both good and bad.
And I mean, he has a losing record in the playoffs.
I said good and bad. He dominates, and he's good for some headlines, but he doesn't win all the titles.
No, he has a losing record. So
Manny, I wanted you to know that I tried to tailor the show a little bit, not all about Philadelphia sports, because I know that you don't dive in fully with the Philadelphia. You're not the 4-4, as you're wearing a Raiders jersey on my show.
Yeah.
Who is your surprise NBA team at the halfway point? Who's surprised the hell out of you?
The Utah Jazz.
Okay.
Like right now they're literally on fire. And I'm afraid they're gonna be like that, 2018-19 Hawks that they don't have 60 wins and they go into the first round of playoffs and get destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest fear. If they keep playing like this throughout the playoffs, I could see them, a Lakers, Jazz, Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yes,
that'd be a great finals. That'd be a great Western Conference final.
Exactly. And in that point, I might change my mind with the MVP candidates and like who's going to win it. But I'm afraid that the Jazz, yes, they're fun to watch. They destroyed the Lakers last week. Like even destroying the Lakers was entertaining to watch them play basketball. But I'm afraid that it's going to be one of those teams that they're going to look good in the regular season, and then when it comes to the playoffs, done.
The Green Bay Packers, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's the team I wrote down too. The Jazz are super fun to watch.
Yes.
They kind of remind me of like what the Suns could be.
Exactly.
The Suns are a good, young, talented team. But you could very easily see a scenario that, could they do what the Nuggets did last year and go to the Western Conference Finals? Sure.
Maybe.
But you could also see them lose in the first round. Very easy.
So both of you have the Jazz. I'm going over to the East with my surprise team.
Who
the hell called the New York Knicks being in 4th place as of right now?
Nobody.
If you took that bet for them to make the playoffs, you might want to go to prop swap and.
That does say how bad the East is comparatively. But the New York Knicks at 18 and 17 are holding the 4th seed, and Julius Randle is their star player.
He is having a monster season.
Holy crap, is he having a great season?
That's a team that you basically look at and they're having fun playing. And that's the problem with with New York. Like everybody walks into New York and they have expectations to win. They're playing for fun and they're winning with it. Yes, they have
and you look at this roster, right? And I because I'm not a Knicks fan, I had to pull up the roster. So Julius Randle, Derrick Rose, right? So there's your 2 name guys. Everybody else is a kid. Right,
yeah,
RJ Barrett, young guy.
Barrett.
Obi Toppin, young guy. Frank, young guy
from France, right?
Kevin Knox, young guy, and then you have Nerlens Noel playing well. You have Alec Burks, so a bunch of Sixers cast-offs.
I was going to say the Sixers.
What are the New York Knicks doing, being the number 4 seed right now, and do they maintain it?
I don't think so. I think they're kind of playing with house money right now.
Yeah,
they're just playing.
At this point, they're like, "Woohoo, we're playing."
I think. Listen,
A2D, thanks for tuning in, bud.
Yeah, at some point, I think you're going to see the Celtics, the Knicks, the Bucks. You're going to see those teams kind of rise up in the standings in the East. They might be a team who ends up on the tail end of the playoffs. I think they might end the year like a 6, 7, 8 seed. That might be a team that we see in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. It's that 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, that 7, 8 area. Again, as long as they're having fun in it, I can see them going into the playoffs right there. The only thing is, the sad part is New York.
New York and Philly are that same mentality of the we drafted Obi Toppin. He's going to be a superstar. We drafted Kevin Knox. He's going to be a superstar. Derrick Rose is going to be a superstar again. Not every player shapes out that way. And again, y'all got Nerlens Noel playing. Chill. Just chill.
The king of the overreactions. You know what? And here's the thing. It's very similar. Like this whole reaction thing is very similar to people's reactions to including Maxey in a trade. Like, is Maxey a good young player? Yeah. But Maxey's role on this team,
right,
is to be the piece that you move to get a guy like Kyle Lowry, like Zach LaVine, like Bradley Beal. He's going to be the guy that's included in that deal. He's a piece, but he's not like that, and that's where we get that like.
Right.
You have to look at what your expectation is, right? So go across the Philly board right now. The Philadelphia Phillies are building pieces. They're in the win now
ish
or soon mentality. Win now or soon. The Eagles are in a win at some point question mark mentality. Right. The Sixers and the Flyers are ready to win now. They are in their window of time to compete. So again, Jason, I agree. I don't want to trade Maxey at all. I think he's a great young player.
I don't want to either, but that's his role on this team.
If he and Korkmaz and Thibault get you a player that's going to push you into the finals this season,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
You take that deal.
I think if you're talking about Lowry,
you're not stockpiling for later.
No. I think if you're like if you had a trade on the table for Kyle Lowry and it was Maxey and a pick and Mike Scott, somebody who you got to include with salary.
Yeah.
See, I tend to go for me. What the Sixers team needs, and again, this is kind of what we're talking about now. What the Sixers team needs right now is I don't think they need a point guard because we know Ben Simmons is going to handle the ball.
Yeah.
What they need is either a number 2, which is where the Zach LaVine thing comes in nicely, a 2 guard, or another big man so that Simmons can play at the point and facilitate. But you have a power forward who can also, when needed, be that hybrid power forward center and play when Dwight Howard is not a young guy, friends. So we need either.
Who's your guy?
I don't have that guy yet.
He wants
for me, it's LaVine. Hell, if you can figure out a way to trade for Julius Randle this season, give me him.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I mean, the guys that you're going to add are going to be guys that are in a buyout market. You're talking about guys like, I don't even know, like Tony, like Trevor Ariza, Tony Snell, George Hill, Otto Porter. Like those are guys.
None of them are difference makers, though, that you trade a Maxey for.
Right.
None of those guys are difference makers that you trade Maxey or Thibault.
The only guy, there are 2 guys that I can think of that fit into your criteria. Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
But
I don't want Bradley Beal for the mental piece of it all.
Okay. But what
he's grumpy.
In a Zach LaVine deal, what are you what is the package? What would you be
if you were the owner? What is the package for this Zach LaVine?
What's your package that you're gonna say that like I'll pretend to be the Bulls? Who are you giving me? You want Zach LaVine? Who do you got?
I want Zach LaVine because they're gonna win this season, and LaVine is not going anywhere on the Bulls. I'm willing to give. I'm willing to just hope that you'll take Korkmaz off my hands. I don't just take him no matter what. Just take him.
But you have to think about it on the other side because we always want to say give me Zach LaVine. We'll give you Korkmaz and like a bunch of garbage. Why? What are the Bulls want? If the Bulls want anything, they want assets. So if I'm the Bulls, I say
so you're going to have to go with like a Maxey and
give me Maxey, give me Thibault, give me 2 future first round picks.
Right.
Yep.
And that's
That
a
sounds
deal.
about right.
Now, what that does though is that weakens your bench. See, that's where the Nets are going to have their problem, is that their bench is not going to do what it needs to do. And when your big three get tired and go to the bench, that's when teams close the gaps.
Their second tier guys there is such a drop off between their big three and that, like, their big three are here and everybody else is like in New Jersey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
really.
Steve Nash is doing a good job though, trying to keep them involved in the game. So like he's not taking all three of them out right away. He takes one out, puts one back in. So it kind of works out. And yes, you're right. That whole tier between the bench players and the starting is so different. It's ridiculous. And that's that's what we have to live with now in the NBA. Like no matter what team you see lately, it's been like that. Three, you have your big three that can give you 30 points each, but then the rest of the bench will give you 10. So
and that's like when your roster is so top heavy with that, you have you have no other way to fill out the rest of your bench than to have guys that are either going to be the guys who glom on and say, I see an easy ring, I'm going to hop on and get the veteran minimum because I don't care what my salary is because I've already made
X amount.
Right.
Right. Like,
but I need that ring to put me into the Hall of Fame conversation.
Correct.
Yep. Agreed.
You need the LaShawn McCoy.
Right, who now has played in 2 Super Bowls and hasn't played in 2 Super Bowls.
But has 2 Super Bowl rings to put on his resume.
Still got it.
And you know what? Listen, I know we've been going for over an hour here, but we have managed to somehow stay away from football. We're going to use that as a transition piece, what you just said.
Points.
Sure.
We're going to spend a couple minutes on football here because there was some big news that dropped today. Y'all, on a deal that I did not have JJ Watt going to the Cardinals.
Me neither. Nobody did, actually.
Nobody.
I
think only he
First
knew.
off, I got to give the man credit because here's my source. Me. My source is me.
That was awesome.
It was a good.
I mean,
I was like, okay, he's going to the Cardinals.
Okay, I could have swore if the 2 places that I thought he would go initially when they let him go, first was Pittsburgh. I thought it was a no-brainer for him to go and play with his brothers, or I thought he was going to go to Tampa. Like, to me, both of those places made sense.
I didn't see the Tampa
one or two for me. One of the two. Pittsburgh, of course, because I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Why not play with your brothers? Just go over there, get it over with. And so I think personally, this whole thing was basically about the money. I mean, yes,
$23 million guaranteed.
Yep.
Huge money grab.
Money grab. Let's be honest. Like, the Cardinals are a good team. Are they the team? No. But the fact that he's in a team that can kind of make it, that's a different story. If he wanted to win, I can see the Tampa Bay, scenario, or
that's never seemed to me like the JJ Watt thing. He's willing to work for it.
I can see Cleveland in that whole scenario. I mean, you want to go to Cleveland? Unless you're, really desperate. But this whole thing sounds more of a, money.
This is the point. Yeah. That's what got him there.
That's what got him.
DeAndre Hopkins is say, hey, JJ, come on,
finish. I saw him put something out today. Come finish what we started, kind of thing. It makes a ton of sense for him. Listen, at this point in his career, I wouldn't be turning down that kind of guaranteed money at this point in my career. I'd absolutely go there. And the stat that I saw today with the Field Yates, do you guys see the stat where since the start of the 2012 season, the 2 guys that have the most sacks, Chandler Jones and JJ Watt, like that, to put both of those guys on either side, like like if you're a tackle in the NFC West, God, but I'll say your prayers, like.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The defense for the Cardinals has jumped to at least a top 10 defense easily in the front.
Easily, yeah.
Not saying
they've got a lot of good young talent.
Yes, and hopefully it works out to the point that we can see it. But again, the NFC West has done a lot of moves. I mean, like Matthew Stafford, who the hell thought it was going to go to, LA? Like, to be honest, the fact that Wilson is like, I want to go play for Chicago. And it's like, why would you want to play for Chicago? Like,
right.
Because it means you don't have to face JJ Watt twice a year.
Well, yeah,
listen,
now
Manny, I thought he was going to your squad for a hot minute.
I was thinking that too, but
that would make a ton of sense for him.
They would. The only problem I have is, as much as I am a Las Vegas, and yes, I'm still getting used to the word Las Vegas. Random story here. When the Las Vegas Raiders first opened their season last year, the initials is LV. I live in the Lehigh Valley. I was like, why the hell Lehigh Valley is on the board? Oh shit, Las Vegas. Literally. But my problem is that John Gruden is a control freak. Not saying it's a bad thing and so forth. Russell Wilson likes to improvise. If it's not under Gruden's idea, he's not gonna like it. And I can see Russell Wilson and Gruden, clashing at that point and so forth. I do see him going to the Saints there, you can just go and Peyton's gonna be like, okay,
him going to the Saints.
Go free and give me a touchdown, give me a win, and so forth. I can see him.
If I'm either Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, like I know the Saints are in cap hell. Yeah. And they've got cap problems coming out their rear end. But if you can get a quarterback on that team with those weapons, forget about it.
Yeah.
Mail in the rest, everybody else, have fun playing 16 preseason games because we're gonna that
team you out the season,
that team.
And you look at a player like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a game changer, right? He is. Look, he's struggling in Seattle because they're not blocking for the dude.
Well, yeah, he has no offensive line. Like his line is just completely garbage. And
I wonder what that looks like being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, having an offensive line that doesn't block for your quarterback. And then all of a sudden the quarterback's like, I would like to leave. And then they say, okay, you can leave. And now he's in Indianapolis, not getting smacked in the face. Interesting how that works.
We'll put money on money on him being the quarterback, the comeback player of the year. I want to see the odds on that one.
Comeback players of the year. Adam with a great comment, right? Alex Smith is no longer playing in Washington. He's expected to be released. Is that where Deshaun Watson ends up?
Could be. They've got
the need to trade a lot. I don't think Deshaun Watson goes anywhere. I think he's got to sit it out.
I was just about to say I would not be surprised if he sits out. If he just says,
I'll take the hit. Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, I'm hoping that he goes to Washington. That'd be a fun, entertaining thing to do. What happened especially with the Texans, they're not gonna be stupid. They're gonna make sure that he either pays back their money, or if he goes to I don't know, some place that they're never gonna see him again.
He would go someplace in the NFC. They're not putting him in the AFC anywhere. Where the only time they'd have to his revenge tour is in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they're gonna get they're gonna get some insane compensation.
Yeah. Don't be amazed if they get thrown out to Jacksonville just because they want to be bits of my stuff.
Right. Either that or bury him somewhere, like you're just saying. Now, Manny, you had a closer watch on our gentleman that I'm about to bring up. Is it finally about to happen? Are the Philadelphia Eagles finally about to get Marcus Mariota after waiting so many years?
They're going to do the deal.
Do we want him?
No, we don't want Marcus Mariota.
I didn't want Marcus Mariota when we had Chip Kelly.
It's going to say Chip Kelly left. Let him be. Send him out someplace else. Come on.
I think the guy they go and get is Jacoby Brissett.
Yep. Brissett's a solid guy.
That makes
a ton of sense.
It makes a ton of sense on so many levels. He ran that system.
I'm getting really tired of the Philadelphia Colts and the Indianapolis Eagles. I'm getting annoyed by it. Stop it. You're doing this weird sister cousin routine. Stop it.
No, but listen, when Andy Reid became the coach, who did he bring in?
I know.
It's the same exact scenario. Bringing in a guy who can sit and listen, maybe not to be the on-field presence, but more the off-field presence. Yes. The guy to sit in the meeting rooms and say, all right, when we run this play and you're looking at cover two, and a guy who can talk the language. Teacher. But it's the guy who can talk the language of the playbook to a guy who's learning the playbook, just like Doug. I'm not saying he's not going to play the same role that Doug Peterson played in actually starting the games, but bringing in a guy who has been in and know the system. Listen, I hope that you don't see the backup quarterback at all, because that means that good things are happening on the field.
But Brissett is that guy who, like, let's be honest, when he was the starting quarterback for the Colts, he did a decent job. Like, what other backup quarterback? I mean, other than this guy from the practice squad quarterback that started against in Washington, that now he has a 3-year
Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, Taylor Heineke that has a 3-year contract as a number 3 quarterback. Not number 1, not number 2, number 3.
But there is zero conversation of him being the starting guy. There is zero conversation. And that's what Philadelphia needs out of their starting after all of this Wentz and Foles drama and then the Wentz and Hurts drama. There cannot, whoever is the backup quarterback for Jalen Hurts, if Jalen Hurts is going to be the starting quarterback, and not because Jalen Hurts can't handle it, the Philadelphia fans cannot handle a big name backup at this point that has any expectation of becoming the starter. It needs to be if Jalen Hurts is going to be the starter, then we cannot do the grass is greener routine with our backup.
So you're gonna pick up Doc Hodges then to stop that whole scenario?
Listen, you leave Duck alone, all right? His name was Duck. No, I'm talking about bringing in a guy like, I look at him like a Fitzpatrick, right? Fitzpatrick is a good player in this league. He's a good teacher, but he's not the future of your franchise.
Okay, that's another guy I wrote down. Him and Jason mentioned Tyrod Taylor. Like any of those guys, I'm okay with.
What worked so well with Donovan so many years ago was Doug Peterson started the season until Donovan was ready. And then there was never a question of, well, maybe you should put Doug Peterson back in because once Donovan became the guy, that was it.
Yeah, it's over.
And it's what got you in trouble. It's what got you in trouble last year.
Yeah.
It's got you in trouble over the last 15 years. Let's call it like it is. The backup, we've paid a lot of attention in Philadelphia to who the backup quarterbacks are. And I'm tired of it. I want to know his name, not know his name.
We are forever the city that wants the underdog to be successful.
I mean, Rocky, let's be honest.
We gave a statue to a fictional character.
We are forever. Listen, we are forever rooting for the underdog. Jeff Garcia. Who was the guy who was the catcher for the Phillies a couple years ago? Who God, I can't remember his name, but we are forever rooting for the underdog. We want the guy who's the third string guy to be
all about the birds while we were on air. Just opened up a poll of
That's why
all
Nick
about the
Foles,
birds while we were on air. Just opened up a poll. Who is the Philadelphia athlete that left? But no matter where they go, you want them to always be loved here. We're literally, and the choices are TJ McConnell, Nick Foles, Chase Utley, or other. I mean, we in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, the birthplace of America, y'all, we live in the past.
Of course.
And I'm a history teacher. We live in the past. Stop it.
Yes.
Build for the future.
First.
I don't know. Manny, in the green room,
okay.
You brought up 2 really cool points that I would like you to share with the people hanging out.
Okay, gentlemen and ladies. So, talk about football here. In sports in general, they have started a new football league. It's called the FCF or Fan Control. Fan Control. Thank you, Don. Fan Control Football. That basically gives the fans the options to be more interactive for the game. So what happens is during the game, you vote on the plays that you want to run. So like example, run play or passing play, and whoever gets the most votes, they go with that play. And it's sort of similar to like a video game, just because every time that you are correct. You get more points, like experience points, and you go more into detail of what plays you want to go. So you start basic, you want either run or pass play, but once you get to like level 10, you go into like, do you want to run the option or do you want to run like ISO for offense? And the same thing with defense. And then you keep going like that until you get to certain levels, so forth. Same thing with the defense. If you're a defense, you want to play zone coverage, man coverage. And by the way, this is arena football, that terminology, not like in like regular overall, like regular football. So you can do that. It's kind of cool. And on top of that, you can actually also every week they change the roster of the team. So like the team always changes. From quarterback to running backs, and the defense goes with defense is at one. So it's like a fantasy football type of
it's a super cool blend of like a bunch of things that are really hot now.
Yes.
It blends like fantasy football and video games and and it's something different.
What it does, and I said this in the green room. I was like, it allows all of us armchair quarterbacks to finally put up our money and shut up.
Yes, right. And again, the more points, the more experience you get, the more influential your pick is compared to anything else.
Oh.
And even that, like, the player owners are in this whole thing are actually, people who are just Joe Schmoes who just want to be, coaches and owners. Like Quavo is actually one of the owners of the teams. So like it's one of the, yeah, like I was like, what? Like so forth. Marshawn Lynch actually did a guest announcing, and he was hilarious and so forth. And it brings back to even
I would pay. I need to watch this just to know that that was like the time that Snoop Dogg called a hockey game.
Yes, exactly.
There are certain things that you just need in your life, or when DMX rapped Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. There's just certain things in your life that you don't realize that you need until you have discovered them.
And like again, it's one of those cool things that happen and so forth. Like Johnny Mansell, Johnny Football, is actually in the league. Is one of the top names in there, and a few guys from the XFL and the AAF league are actually in there too. So like, it's one of those things that's kind of cool and it elaborates to that just having fun football.
Yeah, I think it's doing everything that those other leagues.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I think those other leagues just said, well, football's a really big thing, so we're just going to put another football product out. But the Alliance of American Football and the XFL were just
the same
lower level talent. The talent was just not as good as the NFL. So everybody's like, "Ooh, I'll tune in to watch this. I can watch stuff in the off season," and they watch it and they're like, I don't.
You're not talking about the original XFL, right? Because I will forever remember he hate me.
Oh, Rod Smart.
Smart.
And there you go. You've now completed the ultimate trifecta of ridiculous. We have done Aeneas Williams, Jake Plummer, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. We've dropped it to Kembe. We've dropped the Tyrone Hill. We dropped the Johnny Football. And finally, we've come to Rod. He hate me Smart.
Who was an Eagle for a hot minute.
Yes.
They didn't let him take over his name, though.
They should have. They should have kept He Hate Me.
Oh, yeah, that'd have been great. I would have bought that jersey. I might still buy that jersey.
Yes.
maybe you can get 99 jersey.
I made a good point. Like it's different football, and that's what I like about it. I'm going to check that out.
It's a blend of the fantasy the aspect of fantasy football, the aspect of playing the video games and calling the plays. Like it does, and it could be something that in a short season, in the off season, could stick.
Yeah,
who knows? You're talking about a time where video games is becoming a professional money-making sport. This is right along that target line.
Yeah, that's absolutely. It kind of blends both worlds.
Yeah, and it kind of helps out too with like the NFL because NFL brought Nickelodeon to do the football games this year. Then, by the way, I watched the Saints game, and it was more fun on Nickelodeon than actually on CBS. It was
so crazy that you bring this up. So Phil and I were going back. Phil and I were kind of going back and forth a little bit. The idea that putting that Nickelodeon game, if the other leagues don't see that and say,
oh my God,
really easy way to bring, like, because he was bringing up about baseball. And I said, if baseball were smart, which they're not, Rod Manfred is a moron, which is a whole different conversation.
We're still having the DH conversation. Come on.
If baseball were smart, they would put a game a week on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And just when the guy hits the home run, like he gets slimed as he's running around, all that let the kids go on, like have kid announcers.
Yeah.
But
not even kid announcers. Break out well, Patrick, that was a great home run. Yeah, SpongeBob. Right? Like you could have fun with this.
Yeah, if I'm the NBA, if I'm Major League Baseball, if I'm hockey, like any of those sports, I say, or if I'm Nickelodeon, I say, hey, let's do a Nickelodeon sports network. Let's link up and do a game a week.
Yeah.
And alternate us, like, come on. Like, how am I, Joe Smo, sitting in my
couch,
third bedroom, coming up with these ideas, and you can't come up with them?
And that's the best part, because even like going back to Nickelodeon, like, you know, they had young Sheldon, the kid who like come in and explain the whole thing, like literally, like, oh, this is what the penalty was about, and this is why it did it. The same thing with this FCF is because the same thing, like it teaches, you know, yes, granted that older people, like, you know, the 20-year-olds are going to watch it and be more interactive and so forth. And then you get that teenager who wants to be interested in football, you know, watch it and be, okay, I understand now why they're going to run the ISO, or why you want to run this play against this defense, because
you have to study the game.
Exactly.
You have to become a student of the game if you want to be more productive. Exactly. So what a better way to build your fan base with either something that they can interact with or something that is legit just fun to watch.
Exactly.
It was the only game that I could get any of my kids in my house to watch with me.
I mean, I'll pay Chip for another SpongeBob and Patrick voiceover.
Okay. I always like throw that at the students, and my own kids are like, Dad, you need to stop. I'm like, Daddy. All right, so wait, speaking of making things less fun, what the hell is baseball doing, Manny?
Okay, so baseball's last thing is they've modified the baseball itself. So
they changed their balls. Got it.
They changed. Well, it's not a change in the outside superficial, like changing balls.
They changed the inside of their balls.
Inside their balls. Yes. So like they loosen. Okay, ready? They're loosening up the.
What do they do with the stitching on the balls?
No, it's not a stitching. It's the inside, like the twine. They loosen it up a little bit, so that way the balls
aren't wound as tight.
Yeah,
right. Sure.
So the balls don't go as far during the game. So the stat was like 2 feet shorter than the regular, you know, last year's balls. So
2 feet matters. 2 feet matters.
Yes.
They're going back to like that. It's that kind of dead ball.
Exactly.
Like they're trying to. Oh wait! Like instead of thinking about this logically, what Major League Baseball does is like, hey, we could just balance it out by like changing something that's not going to completely alter the statistic of the game. No, let's do something stupid and let's keep messing. Like let's raise and lower the bound.
Building in another asterisk, basically.
Let's change the ball.
And the part that's kind of crazy is the pitchers are all for it. The pitchers are like, yes, this is better, so forth. And like the batters are like, fuck you, no, I'm not doing this shit. Like,
right, because what do home runs equal? Home runs equal dollar signs on contracts.
Exactly. Right. A lot of those guys that have all those statistical bonuses, they're going to be guys that are going to like if I'm a guy who's got to hit 30 home runs to get a bonus.
Now I can only hit 25 because my balls are too tight. The balls are too tight.
Sponsored by Viagra.
Are they changing the color of the balls?
No, they're keeping it the same.
Okay. They're still going to be white.
There's no blue.
They're not going to be a shade of aqua, if you will?
No shade of anything, just whites.
This has gone completely off the rails. I want to be very clear.
Hey.
But that's why, like, I'm so excited that you two gentlemen joined. All right, so listen, we've gone for an hour and a half, which was not the expectation.
Definitely not.
But let me do the wrap up. Let me be very official for a second. So all the talking about SpongeBob and balls from the last 10 minutes. All right, so here we go. Of course, this has been Chips and Dish on the All About the Birds Network. I want to remind everybody that Chips and Dish is sponsored by 99 Jersey. That's where I have that Charlie Conway jersey and the Bobby Boucher jersey, basically all my movie jerseys. That's where you get from them. So 99jersey.com, you use AAT Birds at checkout. You get a 20% discount off at checkout. That matters. So check that out. That's been
a pretty sweet Kobe Bryant, Lower Merion jersey.
I do have a Kobe Bryant, Lower Merion jersey from there. So they got all kinds of good stuff. It's at least worth a going to visit because holy crap, this stuff is cool.
Well, and they've got some
other things going on. Yeah, some other things going on. Obviously, Tuesday is our fantasy golf show, Fairway to Heaven with Phil. Wednesday is the All About the Birds Eagles recap week. This week we have Mike Kay, Eagles beat writer, so he's going to be joining us. Cool. Saturday night is our draft show with Johnny, our new YouTube exclusive show, Beers, Birds, and BS with Jeff. Is recorded Friday nights and then aired on YouTube as soon as it's up and running. So All About the Birds is continuing to grow, continuing to build things. One awesome thing that I do need to share with the people is All About the Birds. Y'all, it's March Madness time. Woo! We are holding a bracket challenge. So real simple. This is on the All About the Birds website, aatbirds.com. You will find the directions for how to sign up for the All About the Birds bracket challenge. It's $5 an entry. That's it. $5 gets you an entry for cash prizes and some All About the Birds swag. So as many entries as you want. It's done through ESPN. Check it out. It's going to be awesome. Next week, I got a really cool guest, and I'll tell you more about that later. In 2 weeks, I'm bringing on the missus. I'm bringing on the wife for a special bracket picking episode. For those of you that know, my wife, who is very intelligent, likes to pick games against me. Football season, she kicked my ass. Every time we pick brackets, she kicks my ass. We're going to do this live and going into the reasons of why she's kicking my ass.
The best part about your picks during the NFL season are her picks and the reasons why.
Yep.
That
right. So I look at the Packers game. I'm like the Packers, their defense, right? Their defense is going to be great here versus this and this. And she picks the Packers. And why? Because cheese.
Yeah.
And that's a good point.
I like cheese.
I like
and she beats me. So again, in 2 weeks after they announce the brackets, we're going to do a special Chips and Miss, right? The Misses episode where we figure out why she kicks my ass in bracketology. Even though she's watched exactly 0 games of NCAA basketball. So that's coming up in 2 weeks. Again, I am Chip. I am so appreciative of my guest tonight. Like I said, we had Don joining me. Don is my work very best friend. Don't forget to vote for Don
vote for him.
Is Hockey Teacher of the Month. Is that?
Yes,
generically what it is?
The Hockey Scholars Teacher of the Month for the representing the Philadelphia Flyers.
Right, and that link is in this video line. And of course, my twin from college, Manny, right? My brother from a very different mother. I love you, man. I'm so glad you joined.
I was excited when you said, "Yo, I need a co-host." Like, I'll do it. Like, let's do it.
You're like twin show. I'm like, friendships and dish. I love it. So again, my friends, I appreciate you. It's been so good to see you. I've decided to change the login, the logo. We always say "Go Birds," right? And thank you to the comments. Thank you to the followers. Don't forget Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Like us on our YouTube page. All that good stuff. But I just we always end every show with "Go Birds," right? And I've had a corny ass sign off, but while we were talking over the last hour and a half, I came up with a new one.
Ooh.
Right. So I had been saying,
chipping away,
chipping away at life,
chipping away at life,
which is awful. So what we are changing it to, and we're going to give this a whirl for a while, Go Birds. But of course, now I'm out of beer. So we're out of here. See you guys next time.
See you next time.
Have a good night.